Hey, good afternoon, folks. I guess it's still morning, close to the afternoon. Heath Springer coming at you with a little good news, man, about how you can keep it simple and own the Savior and go to heaven. The KISS method to worshiping and following Him. I started yesterday sharing a 10-part series on ways you can show the love of Christ, ways you can love. And yesterday we talked about speaking without accusing, and today we're going to talk about promising without forgetting, and giving your word and following up on it. That you should, if you say you're going to do something, you should do it. That's a great way to show the love of Christ. If you say you're going to do something and you don't, you're not showing the love of Christ. You're leading people in the wrong direction. You're steering them in the wrong direction. If you're claiming to be a Christian with your mouth, and then you say with your mouth you're going to do something, and you don't, then your actions are totally different than your words. And I'm going to share this verse before I get to driving. One of my old friends on me about doing the verses before I get to driving, and rightfully so. He's just taking care of me, and I appreciate it, Jetto. But I'm going to come at you today with in Numbers 32, and we're about promising without forgetting, following up on your promises to show how Christ through you, love of Christ. In Numbers 32, when a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by pledge or promise, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. That's Numbers 30, chapter 30, verse 2. He says, when a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate him by pledge or promise, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. If you want people to go to heaven, if you want to lead them to heaven, and you're going to claim that you're a Christian, you can't go around saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and not doing it. And I have been the world's worst at such as that before. And I strive not to. I'm going to tell you a story, though, of how this has affected my whole life. And some people laugh at me, but when I was little, I was 4 years old, 4 or 5, I was kindergarten age. I remember vividly sticking a peanut M&M up my nose. I know, you're like, oh man, it's nasty. Exactly, just little kids, especially little boys, they do such as that. I don't know why I did, I just did. There's a lot of stuff grown, I don't know why I did that I regret, but I stuck this M&M up my nose, and it made me have problems, sinus problems. My mom, my family, they thought I was sick, thought something was wrong with me, take me to the doctor. Turns out I don't have a cold, I don't have an infection. I've got a peanut M&M, or the remnants of it, shoved up my nose, and it's blocking it. So they're having to pull it out, and in my young life, that was by far the most pain I had ever felt. I mean, it was crucial. And even though I was a child, I was a big boy, and they couldn't hold me, they couldn't keep me from getting that out. My mother pleaded with me. She said, I'll take you to get McDonald's, get you a Happy Meal after this, if you'll let them get out. So I let them do that. So I automatically let them do it, because I wanted a Happy Meal. And you know, as a kid, it's not like now. I didn't want for anything as a child, but kids now, they don't know what it's like. Their cup runneth over constantly. That was a big deal for me as a young child. And when I let them do what they done, and she did not take me to get that Happy Meal, and I have never forgot that. And you might laugh at that story, but I never have forgot it. She didn't keep her word. She did, and for that made me apprehensive, made me leery of people giving me their word. When I was a little bit older, again, this is a football one here. A lot of my stories are football. I had a coach. I was playing midget football, what they call it. I guess it's 10-year-old round in there. Anyways, I wasn't gonna make the weight limit. You have to make a weight. They had to do a mid-year weigh-in too, and they were gonna move me up if I didn't make. And they needed me on the team, and I needed to be on that team. So I cried and was tore up. Well, they said, well, you can come back and weigh tonight. So I literally took water pills, ran all day, put plastic trash bags on me, did all these things to run and lose weight. Coach promised me if I would lose the weight, do what I needed to do to make the team, he'd buy me a steak dinner. Well, I did my part. I lost the weight, stood there bare butt, which wouldn't be a big deal now. I've been in locker rooms my whole life, but as a kid, that was a traumatic experience. And I stood there bare butt and weighed, and I made the weigh-in and made it to be able to stay on the team. And now, 32 years later, he still ain't bought me a steak dinner. And y'all can say that's silly, and of course I don't have no hate in my heart for him or anything like that. But I never forgot that. I never forgot them lying to me that day, or not. Maybe they didn't mean to lie. Oftentimes we'll tell people stuff and we don't mean to lie. That's why we need to be careful with our words. We need to follow through on our promises. A great way, as I said, to show Christ's love, to show 10 ways we can love is the whole series, is to promise without forgetting. Those two little simple promises have resonated throughout my whole life and caused me to have trust issues with people. And y'all might think that's silly, but those are two great examples of why you don't tell people something and not do it. You're not showing the love of Christ that way. Christ's greatest commandments: love your God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, all your body. The second one is to love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you want to do them to do unto you. Love them as Christ loved us. And I'm sharing 10 ways you can do that. And a great way you can do that is by fulfilling your promises. It came from Numbers 32, or chapter 30, verse 2. Very solid and very simple. Just like my whole ministry, my whole way of worshiping, my whole way of sharing. Keeping it simple and on the Savior. KISS method to worship. That's part 2 of my 10-part series of 10 ways to show the love of Christ. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, share the video, not to get Heath out there, but to get Jesus out there, and to get out there how simple it is to go to heaven. People try to make it complicated. It ain't. Now, I didn't say it was easy, because you've got to do right. You got to follow those commandments and do those things, but you can do anything through Christ who strengthens us. But it's very simple. Share that video, though. Get the news out there if it helped you. And I'll have more tomorrow, part 3 in the 10-part series. Hope you got something out of it. Remember, folks, Jesus Christ loves you, and I do too. Hey, have a great day. Look forward to talking to you and sharing with you tomorrow. Peace.